Hi all. In this section, we are going to discuss about Einstein's relations in laser. Prior to a discussion of laser action in semiconductors, it is useful to consider optical amplification in two-level atomic system. So in 1917, Einstein demonstrated that the rates of three transition processes of absorption, spontaneous emission, and stimulated emission were related mathematically. He achieved this by considering the atomic system to be in thermal equilibrium such that the rate of the upward transitions must equal the rate of the downward transitions. Before starting our discussion on Einstein's relations, let us assign some parameters and variables for the easiness of the derivation and consider a two-level laser system. Practically, this one is a little difficult to make, but consider for our initial studies and for a better understanding on Einstein's relations. The lower energy level state is assumed as E1 and higher energy level state is assumed as E2. We can see in the image which is displayed in the PowerPoint. So this one is indicated as E1 and this one as E2. And the density of atoms or electrons in the energy level E1 is indicated as N1, and the population of atoms or electrons is indicated as, sorry, this one is N1, and this one is N2. And before starting, we have to consider some coefficients named Einstein's coefficients. So the Einstein A coefficients are related to the rate of spontaneous emission of light, and Einstein B coefficients are related to the absorption and stimulated emission of light. Here both absorption and stimulated emissions are happening with an incident photon to the system. So in the image, you can see that I have displayed three images. First one is absorption of radiation of light, and the second one is spontaneous emission and stimulated emission as indicated as the third image. Okay, variable which is related to the absorption of radiation and stimulated emission are indicated as B. So for the coefficient which is related to absorption of radiation and stimulated emission, both are indicated as B, because we are supplying photon for initiating these processes. As we are not supplying the any photons for the spontaneous emission, we are indicating the coefficient which is related to spontaneous emission as A. And in absorption, the electrons in the lower energy level state E1 absorbs energy from photon, which is fall on to that and jumps to the higher energy level state E2. And in spontaneous emission, the electrons in the energy level E2 is moving to energy level E1 after a short time period, which is called as lifetime of the electron, by releasing an energy in the form of photons. In the third condition, stimulated emission, we are supplying photons to the excited electrons, and when these photons hit on the excited electrons, that electron will release energy in the form of radiation and will jump to the E1 or lower energy level state before its lifetime ends. So we are compelling that electron to move to the E1 state before its lifetime ends by supplying photons to the excited electrons. So we know that in the first case, that means in absorption, electron is moving from E1 to E2 by absorbing energy from photon. So we are indicating this coefficient, this Einstein coefficient related to absorption as B1, 2. That means the electron is moving from energy level 1 to 2. In case of spontaneous emission, we are indicating it with A variable line, and we know that the electron in the higher energy level state, which is moving to lower energy level state, that means E1, by releasing photon from the electron, right? So the movement of electron is from E2 to E1. So I am indicating this coefficient as A to 1. That means electron is moving from 2 to 1. In case of stimulated emission, again the electron is moving from higher energy level E2 to the lower energy level E1. So the coefficient is indicated as B to 1. First of all, we consider our laser system is in thermal equilibrium. A system is in thermal equilibrium if detailed balance is obtained. So detailed balance implies that every process in the system is exactly balanced by its inverse process. As a result, there is no net effect on the system, and this definition implies that in thermal equilibrium, no energy, that means either heat or work or particle energy, is exchanged between the parts within the system and between the system and environment. Thermal equilibrium is obtained by isolating a system from its environment by removing any internal sources of energy and waiting for a long enough time until the system does not change anymore. So in our laser production, right, absorption of energy is happening here. The simultaneous time, spontaneous emission and stimulated emission is also happening. So when the system is absorbing energy, that is releasing energy in other forms. So the system, we can say that the system is in equilibrium condition. So now we are going to derive the correlation between these Einstein's coefficients. So as the system is in equilibrium condition, we can say that total rate of absorption will be equal to total rate of emission. So that means spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. Right? So when we are considering absorption, consider two. We are considering a two energy level laser system for the derivation. So E1 and E2, I have E1 is the lower energy level and E2 is the higher energy level state. So by in this case, in the case of absorption, an electron is absorbing energy from photon and jumping to the highest energy level, right? So the population of electrons in the lower energy level is indicated as N1, and the population of electrons in the higher energy level can be indicated as N2. So we can say that when the number of electrons in the lower energy level, that means N1 is more than the absorption also will get more. That means this absorption process is proportional to number of electrons in the lower energy level. Also, this absorption is proportional to the photon which is hitting or which is incident getting incident to the system. That means that I indicate as H rho of H nu. So the energy of photon is also controlling the absorption process. So these two parameters are controlling this absorption process. That means proportionality can be replaced by the coefficient B12. This B12 is the coefficient which is Einstein's coefficient which is related to absorption process. So when we are writing the rate of absorption, that will be equal to B12 into N1 into rho of H nu. So similarly, we can take spontaneous emission condition also. Spontaneous emission. Okay, in spontaneous emission, you know that after this absorption completes, electron will jump to or electron will move to the higher energy level state V2, but that electron will not be stable in that condition as it absorbed some extra energy. So after its lifetime, that means nearly some 10 to minus 8 seconds or something, that electron will jump back to the previous energy level state, that means E1, by releasing energy in the form of photon. That means H nu. Okay. So this is naturally happening there without any external energy or force. Okay. So this process is completely depends or proportional to the number of electrons in the higher energy level state. That means N2. Okay. And this energy which is releasing in the form of photon will be equal to the difference between energy levels E2 and E1. Then we can replace this proportionality with the help of our Einstein's coefficient A21 that we wrote here, A21, which corresponds to spontaneous emission. So we are replacing this proportionality with the help of this coefficient, like spontaneous rate of spontaneous emission equal to A21 into N2. And when we are taking the third case, that means stimulated emission, the electron from the higher energy level state or excited electrons will jump to lower energy level state, that means E1, when a photon hit on the excited electron, and this process happens before its lifetime ends. So usually this electron will spend some time in the higher energy level state in the form of excited electron. But before that itself, with the help of photons, we are compelling them to move to the lower energy level state by releasing photons from that. So we can write, we can indicate like this process will be proportional to N2, that means the population of electrons in the higher energy level state as well as the incident photon energy. So this proportionality can be replaced with our Einstein's coefficient. That means rate of stimulated emission will be equal to V21 into N2, that means this N2, and the energy of photon, that means rho of hv. V21 into N2 into rho hv. So at equilibrium condition, we know that rate of absorption will be equal to rate of spontaneous emission plus rate of stimulated emission. So that we can write with our equations these V12 N1 rho h nu, A21 N2 and V21 N2 rho h. Okay. So with this V12 N1 rho hv is equal to A21 N2 plus V21 N2 rho hv. So I am taking this term to the left side, then I will get, and because we have this common term rho hv here both terms, so rho hv is into V12 N1 minus V21 N2 equal to A21 N2, right? So I can again take this term to denominator side. So we can write rho hv is equal to A21 N2 divided by V12 N1 minus V21 N2. Next, divide numerator and denominator with the V21 N2. Then I will get rho hv is equal to A21 N2 divided by V21 N2 all divided by V12 N1 divided by V21 N2 minus V21 N2 divided by V21 N2. I can cancel these two times, also these two times, right? Then as a result, I will get A21 divided by V21 all divided by V12 N1 divided by V21 N2 minus 1. Okay, I am representing this equation as equation 1 by using Boltzmann distribution law. Boltzmann distribution law states that the natural logarithm of the ratio of the number of particles in the upper state to the number in the lower state is equal to the negative of their energy separation divided by kT. Or we can represent the same thing which I said in the form of equation, that means Ni equal to N0 into e raised to minus Ei divided by kT This is Boltzmann distribution. Okay. So in this, Ni is the number of electrons in the EI state. This EI state means energy level state. Ith energy level state. Okay. And N0 is the total number of availability of electrons. And K is the Boltzmann constant. T thermodynamic temperature. Okay. So when we are considering our system, we have two energy level state, right? E1 and E2. So I am writing these two states in the form of this equation. That means when we are considering these two, our two level, when we consider our two level system, I can write N1 is equal to N0 into e raised to minus E1 divided by KT for energy level 1, and N2 is equal to N0 into e raised to minus E2 divided by KT for energy level 2. So I am dividing these two equations. Then I will get N1 divided by N2 is equal to N0 divided by N0 into e raised to minus E1 KT divided by e raised to minus E2 divided by KT. These two terms will cancel out, and result we will get e raised to minus E1 KT, and we can take this term to numerator by replacing this sign, minus sign to plus. That means e raised to plus E2 divided by KT, and we can combine these two terms by e raised to E2 minus E1 into E1 divided by KT. In the previous slide, we said that this E2 minus E1 is the energy which is releasing from the electron when spontaneous emission happening in the form of photons, right? So I can replace this E2 minus E1 with the HV, that is equal to e raised to HV divided by KT. Okay. So N1 divided by N2 equal to e raised to HV divided by KT. So I am representing this equation as equation number 2. We are going to substitute this equation 2 in equation 1. Equation 1. Then I can write like rho HV is equal to A21 divided by B21. You can see here A21 divided by B21 all divided by B12 divided by B21 into, instead of N1 divided by N2, I am substituting equation 2, that is e raised to HV divided by KT minus 1, right? So this is equation 3. Then we are going to consider Planck's law. Planck's law describes the spectral density of electromagnetic radiation emitted by a black body in thermal equilibrium at a given temperature T when there is no net flow of matter or energy between the body and its environment. So in 1900, Max Planck heuristically derived a formula for the observed spectrum by assuming that a hypothetical electrically charged oscillator in a cavity that contained black body radiation could only change its energy in a minimal increment E that was proportional to the frequency of its associated electromagnetic wave. So by considering Planck's law, he provided one equation that means like Planck's, according to Planck's law, we can write rho hv is equal to 8 pi hv cube divided by c square into 1 divided by e raised to hv divided by kt minus 1. This is equation number 4. So when we are comparing these two equations, like equation 3 and 4 are there. So when we are comparing these equations, we know that this is a numerator, A21 divided by B21 is the numerator here. The numerator is 8 pi hv cube divided by c square, right? So I can write that A21 divided by B21 is equal to 8 pi hv cube divided by c square. This I wrote by comparing equations 3 and 4, right? And also we will get the coefficient of e raised to hv divided by kt is B12 divided by B21 in the equation B3, and in case of equation 4 it is 1. Okay, so I can write B12 divided by B21 is equal to 1, or we can write B12 equal to B21. So I got this relation and also this relation. So in this, C is the parameter which represents speed of light, B is the frequency, and H is. So from this derivation, finally we got A21 divided by B21 is equal to 8 pi hv cube divided by c square, and B12 divided by B21 equal to 1, right? This is the relation between Einstein's coefficient in case of laser light production.